Number 4, the Oakland Raiders will not win more than 7 games this year. What? What?
What's going on, Raider Nation? Final video, State of the Oakland Raiders address. Really, just the season is in the books. First of all, we don't even know if there's going to be a next season. Obviously, the lockout controversy, I don't know what's going on with the unions and stuff. I'm not good with all the technical things, but I do know there's been word of possibly no season next year. And I know they say there's always next year, but I don't know. I don't know if it's really up in the air what happens. Let me know about that. I don't know all the technical details on why it will happen and such. But let me just throw my take on what the Raiders have done, what they've done this season. We went 6-0 in the division, and hey, it's kind of a fun thing. I like the fact we won division games. Especially the streak was over. And that's, of course, the Chargers losing streak we had for a long time. People laughed at me when I thought, I said it was going to end. I really felt confident in this team that the streak would end, and it did. It wasn't pretty. The first game was pretty ugly. Second game was domination, but it ended regardless. Also, it was just troublesome how this team couldn't do well in other games, in non-AFC West games. They're only able to beat a couple NFC West teams. Got swept by the AFC South. 2 of those games happened to be a victim of bad timing. The Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans were really good early in the season, then they faltered down the stretch. We happen to be victims of bad timing. From looking at each position, though, Jason Campbell, he had a slow start, and people were going to label him the GOAT and this and that, but you know what? He is the best quarterback option we had available, and he still is the best option available as we have right now. I think I'm perfectly fine with him in the short term for the next 2 or 3 years. Wouldn't give him, obviously, nothing excessive, but he's perfectly fine with what we have, because to all you who said we should have drafted Jimmy Clausen or drafted a quarterback in the draft, y'all are idiots. Drafting an unproven rookie would not do anything to us. We needed someone with experience, at least who had playing time in the league, and we just got to give this guy support. And Jason Campbell is everything we've needed of that, someone who can lead the team and run it. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the way he played against San Diego this year, that was amazing. Especially some of those AFC West games, he was able to run the team. That play action, it even fooled the cameraman. Jason Campbell can run this team. I do think we should draft a backup quarterback in the draft in the later rounds, maybe the 5th round, 6th round. We should draft a quarterback. I'm perfectly fine with that because we need a backup, someone who can step in for him if he's hurt. He really took a lot of shots, but he was smart, and I'm happy that we have him, unlike that other guy we used to have. At the running backs, Michael Bush, I believe, is a free agent. We got to re-sign him because him and McFadden were a great duo this year, and I liked what I was seeing from there. Wide receivers, Jacoby Ford was pretty much everything we were hoping of Heyward-Bey, and it's disappointing how Heyward-Bey has been. But in Heyward-Bey's defense, he was double teamed a lot. I think teams still respect his speed, and he wasn't able to get open, unfortunately. Because I know he wasn't thrown to very much, so it may not be all his fault, but I know some of it is. At least we have a guy who's working hard, unlike someone who was overweight, who we drafted 3 years ago. Other wide receivers, Lewis Murphy, got to get healthy. Goes same for Chaz Schillens. He's so fragile, but Jacoby Ford, hell of a player. I knew what he did at Clemson as a kick returner, but even as a receiver, he came through for us at times for a guy who lacks height, and looked really good on the reverse as well. I liked what I was seeing there. Marcel Reese turned out to be a great weapon at fullback. It's weird how he was a receiver in college, but now he's a fullback, and we can use him as an outside receiver. He had that 171-yard touchdown pass. There's also that big 4th down pass we got against Seattle he did. Great lead blocker for Darren McFadden he was, for the most part. The offensive line was a little bit shaky. They gave up their sacks. Jared Veldheer did okay for a rookie, still gave up a lot of sacks. A lot of it was early in the season. We can say they went through growing pains. And there were some ups and downs there. I think Bruce Campbell needed to play a little this season, but he didn't. At least dip his feet in the water, get him ready for the NFL, because I know he can do great things for us in the future. I didn't think Samson Satele was as good as advertised. He was an up and down center. I wouldn't mind if we drafted like a center or a guard with that second round pick we have. I wouldn't also be surprised if we traded up to the first round, since we don't have a first round pick. But the offense is really what carried this team, and I'm happy that we haven't seen blown out wins in a long time here in Raider Nation. You know, I'll know what I'm talking about with that. On the defensive side of the ball, the pass rushing was great, and that was thanks to Richard Seymour. Those of you who are wondering, yeah, we got Richard Seymour. What did we do with it? Well, he led the front seven. Lamar Houston, Cameron Wembley, Desmond Bryant, Tommy Kelly, Matt Shaughnessy, Lamar Houston, all those guys up front. Really nice. He led them, and we were near the top of the league in sacks. So I wouldn't say we won the deal with the Patriots, but we did. It's not like we lost it, because he was a Pro Bowler this year, Seymour, and he was a great leader to the young guys up front. Everyone was able to get to the quarterback this year with blitzing. The blitz schemes were really working. However, the only problem was the run stopping. We still had trouble stopping the big plays on the run, hence the game in Jacksonville. We still got torched at times by secondaries like Peyton Manning's team, the Colts. The linebackers, though, were better. I think some of the schemes were a little iffy, but we had trouble stopping the run here and there. It wasn't as bad as in the past, but still, that's going to need some improvement. The secondary, Michael Huff, disappointment. He's an up-and-down player. I know he can be good in coverage at times, and he could be terrible in tackling. But there were times he was beat, and it was rough. Tyvon Branch was average. Got a lot of tackles, but didn't see a whole lot. Nnamdi Asomugha and Stanford Routt. I was really a big, a critic of the opposite side of Nnamdi Asomugha. But Stanford Routt did his job. I got to give props to Stanford Routt this year. He showed why he is meant to be a corner in the NFL. He was thrown to a lot, but I think he did his job for the most part, opposite of Asomugha. Chris Johnson was average, did have a pick six this year. But secondary, it did its job. I know Nnamdi Asomugha might go. I can't really talk about that. It's really up in the air regarding his situation and free agency, which really brings me to the point of the free agency. We have a bunch of free agents. I don't know how many of them will be re-signed or not, but Bush, Seymour, Asomugha, those are the big three that I'd want to come back first. Those three don't have an order, because all three are important in their own ways. Because Bush backs up McFadden really well, great power rusher. Seymour, we know what he can do. He needs to try to stay with this team, and same for Asomugha. I know all 32 teams want Nnamdi Asomugha on their team. Just the only catch is the other side of him will be thrown to, which is the other cornerback. So if you have another corner that can play man consistently, then hell, props to whoever team gets him, if it's not the Raiders. I hope he can take the hometown discount, but I don't know what's going to happen there. But the offensive line is going to need its improvements. There were some ups and downs. Great running days, but sometimes there were bad pass protections. Now going on, to the coaching situation. Hue Jackson is our coach, as said before. I'm not that worried. And some of y'all might be saying, why did we get rid of Tom Cable? All you non-NFL fans, non-Raider fans and haters, we've been saying this and saying Al Davis is on crack. No, this was really just so that Hue Jackson could be the head coach. Because Tom Cable, as much as you want to retain him, he would not be worth the $2.5 million a year that the option had. He clearly was not worth that. Some people have said he's a lame duck and soft. He did motivate the team, and I can say thanks for the memories for that, but he was still soft, especially on defense. There was a lot of things to blame on collapsing, whether it was coverage, whether it was the run stopping. The big thing, though, was the offensive line, which I've been addressing this a lot of this video. And he's supposed to be an offensive line coach. He did not fix it to the abilities that he thought he could. And he was not the one who controlled the offense this year. Why the offense was 31st the year before to being the 6th in points total. That was Hue Jackson. Al Davis likes Hue Jackson, and I do too. If Hue Jackson was coaching another team and Tom Cable was staying, we'd be back to square one. I think our offense would have regressed. We probably would have had trouble being in the same scheme. Sorry, a different scheme. It's very important to keep the same guy calling the offensive plays for us, and that's what Hue Jackson is going to be doing. But yeah, once again, free agency, and we don't even know if there will be a 2011 football season. Regarding the draft, I can't say any names specifically. There's, the combine hasn't happened yet, but I think the offensive line and the cornerback position, I think, are the two things I'd use with a second-round pick. Something tells me Al Davis is going to trade up to the first round, but that's just me. I don't know what he wants. It's really up in the air. But the cornerback position and probably a guard or a center would be fine to take in the second round. This draft class is mainly not full of offensive linemen, so I think we can find a center or guard that hopefully fits the need. I want to hear from everyone in Raider Nation. All y'all have been watching me for the past couple of years. Let me know what y'all think, what this team needs to do. I'm perfectly fine, though, with Hue Jackson as head coach, as long as he stays in this organization. I believe Al Saunders was hired as the offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator's up in the air. Annotations should be updated eventually when we find one, but it's going to be a stressful offseason, guys. I know I won't be able to make videos like every transaction we do, say Michael Bush goes elsewhere or Richard Seymour re-signs with us. I can't do that with every player and everything that happens. If there's like a trade out of the blue and we get someone that I haven't mentioned in this video, then I might address it, but until then, you probably won't see much Raiders talk from me for a while. Obviously, with the off-season going on. But I want to really say thank you for all the support. All you guys, whether you're an NFL fan or a Raider fan who's been watching me for the past couple of years. It's been a real fun season, and it's been fun to be talking with you guys and reading your comments and sending me messages about things. Really thankful for all the support, I never thought I'd have an overwhelming amount of people watching me when I first started talking about the Raiders, but I'm very thankful about that, and really want to say thank you to you all, whether you're, as I said, a TTC member or a Raider fan watching this. So thank you again. I'll probably talk a little non-Raiders things later this week, but as for the Raiders, you'll see me when the draft comes. Obviously, I'll talk about that, but until then, barring no major transactions, we'll see y'all later. Always go Raiders, and once again, it's going to be another long off-season, so let me know what y'all think about that. We'll see you during the Super Bowl. I'll always talk before the Super Bowl and after it with my take on things, so if you want to see me talk football again, yeah, the Super Bowl, I'll be there. So we'll see you guys later, and once again, go Raiders.